Thessaloniki is a city you don't understand by sightseeing alone. You understand it through food. This is a city shaped by refugees, trade and everyday rituals, where recipes were carried by people and slowly became part of daily life. I'm Chrysoula, a local here in Greece, and in this video I'm taking you through the must-try foods in Thessaloniki with very specific local spots, from legendary street food to desserts you will still be thinking about long after you leave. And in Thessaloniki, every single day starts the same way, with a Bougatsa. Bougatsa came to northern Greece, especially Thessaloniki and Serres, with refugees from Asia Minor in the early 20th century. They brought the technique of working very thin phyllo and different fillings from cream and cheese to minced meat. Over time, Thessaloniki turned it into an everyday ritual, eaten early in the morning, often standing, just as it has been for generations. Let's start with one of the places that keeps this tradition alive, Badis Bougatsa. It's a third-generation Bougatsa place that still opens the phyllo by hand, staying faithful to the traditional way Bougatsa has been done for decades. In the city center, the tradition continues at Tsoureki. The shop has been open for more than 50 years, and it's one of those places that became part of everyday life for generations of locals. Koulouri is another breakfast staple in Thessaloniki. It's a ring-shaped bread covered in sesame seeds, simple, affordable, and deeply connected to the city's everyday life. For decades, people have grabbed one on the way to work or while walking through the center, often without even stopping. A great place to try it is Artopio Bakola. It's a traditional bakery known not only for authentic Thessaloniki koulouri, but also for its pies, the kind of place locals rely on for something quick, fresh and properly made. After something so simple and everyday, Thessaloniki usually moves to something sweeter. Tsoureki is a sweet breaded bread flavored with mahlepi and masticha, which give it that distinctive aroma and soft, rich texture. While it's traditionally linked to Easter, in Thessaloniki it's enjoyed all year round. For Tsoureki, the name most people associate with the city is Terkenlis. It's one of the most iconic bakeries in the city, known for its classic Tsoureki and variations, and a place generations of locals grew up visiting. After Tsoureki, it makes sense to move away from sweets and into the savory side of Thessaloniki, the kind of food you find right in the middle of everyday city life. That's where Kapani Market comes in. It's the city's historic open market, full of smells, sounds and small food stops that locals still use daily. This is where Thessaloniki feels most alive, chaotic, loud and completely authentic. Inside the market, one of the classic places to eat is Toumitsu. It's a traditional cafenio that's been part of Kapani for decades, serving simple, honest food to market workers and locals long before it became interesting to visitors. This is the kind of place where you don't rush. You sit, you eat, and you feel the rhythm of the market around you. From the market, Thessaloniki's food story continues with one of its most characteristic dishes, Soutzoukakia. This is a recipe that came with refugees from Asia Minor, bringing bold spices and rich sauces into everyday Greek cooking. In Thessaloniki, Soutzoukakia became comfort food, filling, aromatic and deeply familiar. One of the places most closely associated with them is the Agonios 1977. It's a long-standing spot known specifically for its Soutzoukakia, served the same way for years, and a place many locals think of immediately when this dish comes up. This is not fast food, it's the kind of meal you sit down for, something hearty that reflects the city's refugee roots. After exploring Thessaloniki's deeper, slower flavors, it's time for something that belongs to everyday Greek life. Souvlaki is part of that, simple, familiar, and deeply rooted in how people eat here. One place I recommend in Thessaloniki is Kyriorgis, where the focus is on good ingredients, clean flavors, and cooking over fire, without industrial shortcuts. Here you'll find souvlaki in different versions: lamb, mutton, beef, pork, and chicken, along with juicy lamb chops and handmade sausages from Elasona. From souvlaki, Thessaloniki naturally moves to another everyday favorite, gyros. If you want to try it the local way, head to Touba, one of the city's most lived-in neighborhoods. And if you're a football fan, you'll recognize the area, it's right next to PAOK Stadium. There, Snack Grill Express is known for handmade gyros, grilled over charcoal, giving it a deeper, smokier flavor than the standard version. You'll usually find it open Monday to Friday from 8 p.m. until midnight, making it an easy stop later in the day. It's simple, satisfying, and exactly the kind of place locals rely on. And after savory food like this, Thessaloniki almost always brings you back to something sweet. Desserts here aren't just an ending, they're part of the city's rhythm, often enjoyed late in the day, after a long walk or a proper meal. Trigona Panoramatos are one of Thessaloniki's most iconic sweets. They're crispy on the outside, filled with cream and meant to be eaten fresh, while that crunch is still there. For many people, the first name that comes to mind is Ellenidis, a place closely associated with Trigona, which made it famous. A little further along, Ilios is another classic stop. It's a long-standing pastry shop that locals have trusted for decades, and another great place to try Trigona the traditional way. Alongside syrupy and crispy sweets like Trigona, Thessaloniki has a long tradition in milk-based desserts. Kazan Dipi is one of the classics, a creamy milk dessert with a lightly caramelized base influenced by the city's Ottoman past. One of the most well-known places for it is Hadzis, a traditional spot that has been serving milk desserts for decades. Another classic stop for milk-based desserts in Thessaloniki is Dorkada. This is a traditional galaktopolio known for its range of milk desserts, from rice pudding to semolina-based sweets, all made with a focus on simplicity and technique rather than heavy syrups. It's the kind of place locals return to for familiar flavors that haven't really changed over time. And if you're curious to try something slightly different within the same dessert tradition, it's a great next stop. At Rome Katsikisia, the focus is on desserts made with goat milk. You'll find options like galaktoboureko and ice cream with a lighter texture and a more delicate flavor, offering a different take on familiar Greek sweets. It's an interesting contrast to the classics and a nice way to see how traditional desserts can take on new character. To finish with a dessert that truly reflects Thessaloniki's history, there is Armenoville. Armenoville is linked to different stories. Some connect its name to the French presence in the city during World War I, others to the Armenian community that arrived from the east in the early 20th century. What's certain is that Armenoville became a classic Thessaloniki dessert. It's a semi-freddo, somewhere between a dessert and ice cream, with meringue pieces and caramelized almonds. After disappearing for years, it has made a strong comeback, and today it's part of the city's food story once again. You can taste it today at Armenoville, in the heart of the city, at a place created specifically to bring this historic dessert back to life. Thessaloniki is a city you don't just visit, you taste it. From early morning rituals to everyday street food and desserts with decades of history. Every stop tells part of the city's story. If you enjoyed my food guide to Thessaloniki, give it a like and subscribe for more Greece travel tips. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!